What if the hardest moments in your life weren't meant to break you, but to awaken you? What if the universe isn't punishing you, it's preparing you? And what if every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door was actually a test, but not the kind you think? We've been taught to fear life's tests, to see them as obstacles, challenges, even punishments. But what if that's a lie? What if the tests are invitations, not to prove something to the world, but to remember something you forgot? In this video, we're going to look deeper, beyond the surface, beyond the struggle. Because if you're being tested right now, emotionally, spiritually, even physically, it may not be a sign that something's wrong. It may be the clearest sign yet, that something sacred is trying to emerge. And by the end of this journey, you may come to see your pain, not as a curse, but as a compass. Segment 1. Tests as mirrors. Let's begin here. When life tests you, what is it really doing? On the surface, it may feel like a breakdown. You lose your job. A relationship falls apart. Your plans collapse. Your heart aches. You question everything. But underneath, there's something else happening. Every test is a mirror. It reflects what you truly believe. It shows you who you are and who you're pretending to be, not to shame you, but to free you. Imagine this. You're walking through a forest at night. You've lost your way. You stumble, fall, panic. But then, you see a light. A small flicker, far away. That flicker, that challenge, is not the enemy. It's the beginning of your return. Life's tests are not random. They arrive exactly when the soul is ready to evolve. You don't get tested when you're weak. You get tested when your deeper self is rising. Segment 2. The hidden intelligence behind the chaos. There is an intelligence in your life far greater than logic. It knows when to stir things up. It knows when to strip things away. It knows that only through discomfort can we shed what is false. Sometimes we pray for strength, and life brings the storm. Not to drown us, but to reveal the strength we asked for. Sometimes we ask for truth, and illusions crumble. Sometimes we beg for freedom, and everything that kept us safe begins to disappear. These are the sacred tests, and they don't come with instructions. They don't come with guarantees. They come with silence, confusion, and a whisper that says, trust. Just a little longer. Segment 3. The soul's curriculum. You didn't come here for comfort. You came for growth, and the soul has its own curriculum. It uses loss to teach surrender, loneliness to teach connection, darkness to teach light. And so, the test isn't, will you pass? The test is, will you remember? Will you remember who you are when everything external is stripped away? Will you still choose love when fear is louder? Will you still walk forward when the path disappears? Because here's the truth. You're not being tested to earn your worth. You're being tested to awaken your remembrance. Segment 4. Initiation through challenge. In ancient cultures, tests were sacred. They weren't punishments. They were initiations. To become a healer, you had to walk through sickness. To become a warrior, you had to face fear. To become wise, you had to sit with uncertainty, sometimes for years. What you're going through may not be an accident. It may be your initiation, not in some mythical temple, but in the silence of your apartment, in the hospital waiting room, in the late-night breakdown, in the morning you don't want to get out of bed. Initiation doesn't look like what we thought. There are no priests, no rituals, no golden gates, just you, and the moment that asks, are you willing to let go of who you were, to become who you're meant to be? Segment 5. Resistance is part of the test. And here's the twist. You will resist. You'll want to escape, to numb, to run back to what's familiar, even if it hurts you. That too is part of the test. The soul doesn't test you to see if you're perfect. It tests you to see if you're ready. Not ready to be flawless. Ready to be honest. Ready to stop pretending. Because here's what no one tells you. When you stop resisting the test, the lesson begins to unfold, and slowly, so slowly, something inside you shifts. The pain doesn't vanish, but it starts to mean something. Segment 6. The test within the test. Sometimes the real test is hidden. It's not the breakup, not the illness, not the failure. The real test is, can you stay connected to your soul while everything around you tells you to disconnect? Can you keep your heart open when it would be easier to shut down? Can you be kind in the face of cruelty? Can you keep your faith in the silence? The external test is the doorway. The internal test is the transformation. And if you're watching this, if these words are landing deep in your body, it's because you're not imagining this. You're already in it. Segment 7. Spiritual amnesia and soul remembrance. At some point, you may feel like you've forgotten everything. Your path, your purpose, your reason for being here, but maybe the forgetting is the test. The spiritual path often begins with amnesia, so that remembrance can be real. You didn't come here to memorize someone else's truth. You came here to remember your own. And sometimes it takes being stripped bare to hear the voice within you say, I'm still here, even now, especially now. Segment 8. The Gnostic view, the world as a labyrinth. In the ancient Gnostic texts, the world was seen not as a punishment, but as a labyrinth, a divine maze the soul had to navigate, not to prove its worth, but to remember its light through the shadows. The Gnostics believed that forgetting was necessary, so the soul could rediscover itself by choice, not by force. And every test, a veil, a symbol, a doorway. Pain wasn't the enemy. It was a map. Confusion wasn't failure. It was the first step toward clarity. In this view, Earth isn't a prison. It's an initiation chamber, disguised as an ordinary life. Segment 9. Zen and the test of emptiness. In Zen, there's a saying, the obstacle is the path, not beside it, not ahead of it. It is the path. When your mind screams for answers, when your heart longs for something to hold on to, Zen whispers, let go. Be empty. Trust the space between. The test here is not about action, but surrender. Can you sit in not knowing without rushing to fix it? Can you feel lost and not collapse? Can you let the fire burn without trying to escape? Because sometimes the greatest transformation doesn't come from what you do. It comes from what you're willing to let fall away. Segment 10. The mirror of relationships. Some of the most difficult tests come through others. People who betray you, abandon you, trigger wounds you thought you buried. But what if they're not just enemies? What if they're mirrors? Sacred contracts, souls playing roles to wake you up. You asked to grow, so the universe sends someone to challenge your boundaries. You asked for self-worth, so life sends someone who makes you question it. It hurts, but it's precise. Because every soul you meet holds a key to some part of you. And when you can stop asking, why are they doing this to me? And start asking, what is this showing me about me? The test begins to reveal its wisdom. Segment 11. Tests that repeat until you respond differently. Ever notice how certain patterns keep showing up? Different faces, same pain, over and over. It's not punishment, it's persistence. The soul will keep calling until you pick up. The lesson will repeat until your response changes. And the moment you stop reacting the old way, with fear, defensiveness, self-abandonment, and instead respond from love, from clarity, from truth. That's when the cycle breaks. That's when the test becomes a threshold, not something you fight, but something you walk through. Segment 12. The hidden grace in the test. Now here's the paradox. As painful as they are, most people, when they look back at their hardest tests, say, that's when everything changed. They speak of the divorce that broke them and rebuilt their self-worth. The job they lost that led them to their true purpose. The illness that made them finally listen to their body, their soul. Because the test isn't there to destroy you. It's there to strip away what's not really you. And beneath the rubble, you meet someone you hadn't seen in a while. Yourself, the real you, the whole you, the light that doesn't need a reason to shine. Segment 13, you're not alone in this test. If you're going through a test right now, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not alone. Even if no one around you understands, even if your path looks strange, messy, or invisible to others, there are thousands, millions, walking through their own fires right now. Some are being tested through grief, others through silence, some through a loud, chaotic storm of change. But beneath all the noise, we are connected. If you feel like you're unraveling, it's okay. Sometimes unraveling is just another word for rebirth. And if you feel exhausted, it means you're doing the work. Segment 14. The test is a sign of readiness. You wouldn't be in this test if your soul wasn't ready for it. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. It's a frequency. The very fact that you're still standing, that you're still searching, reflecting, healing, means something powerful. You're awakening. And awakening doesn't mean floating above life. It means being fully in it, raw, cracked open, real. It means saying, I don't know what's happening, but I choose to stay awake. That is true spiritual power. Segment 15, a simple spiritual practice. The pause of power in the middle of the test. There's something you can do, something small, but profound. It's called the pause of power. It's simple. When everything feels too much, stop, close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and say, I don't need to fix this. I just need to breathe through it. This tiny pause, this breath, can interrupt the storm of fear. Because when you stop fighting the test, you begin to understand it. And when you understand it, it begins to transform you. Segment 16, a soul-level affirmation. Try this. Whisper it. Feel it. I trust what is being revealed. I surrender what no longer serves. I am not being punished. I am being refined. Say it when you wake up. Say it in the middle of chaos. Say it when doubt screams loud. Because words are not just sounds. They are spells, and your voice, aligned with your truth, can calm the waves within you. Segment 17. The Creator, within the test. This is the moment you remember something crucial. You are not just the one being tested, you are also the one creating the test. Not from your ego, but from your higher self. Your soul is crafting moments, not to break you, but to activate you, to wake you from the trance of comfort, to remind you that you are more than you were told, more than you believed, more than the world reflects back at you. You are the flame, the witness, the one who walks, even when the path disappears. Segment 18, the test as a threshold. Imagine this. You're standing before a great forest. Behind you, all that's familiar. Ahead, nothing certain. No map. No clear destination. Only a sense that something is calling. This is the threshold of the test. And if you've made it this far, if you've endured, questioned, cried, raged, broken, healed, and still kept walking, then you are already crossing it. The test was never about proving your strength. It was about revealing the truth beneath your doubt. You were never unworthy, just unfinished. And now, you begin again. Not as the version the world made of you, but as the soul that remembers. I am the fire, I am the storm, I am the silence after the storm. Segment 19. Your light is needed. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs present ones. People who've walked through the dark and carry the torch for others. You may not have all the answers. You may still have healing to do. But even your presence, your breath, your truth, your voice is medicine. Every time you choose to keep your heart open, you send ripples into this world. You are the evidence that it's possible to fall apart and rise, to question everything, and still choose love. Segment 20. If you feel this, you're awakening. If this message touched something deep inside you, that is not a coincidence. It means something ancient in you is stirring. It means the test is working. It means you are remembering. So if you feel different, if you feel sensitive, raw, alive, uncertain, that's not wrong. That's awakening. You are not late. You are not broken. You are exactly where the universe needs you to be. Segment 21. A final image. The mirror and the flame. In the end, life will hand you many mirrors. Some will reflect pain, others, possibility. But the most sacred mirror is the one you carry inside. It is lit by a flame no test can extinguish, and when you stand before it, truly, you will see not just a survivor, not just a seeker, but a soul in motion, burning, becoming, remembering. Segment 22. Gentle call to action. If this message stirred something in your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a soul who's walking through their own test, with someone who needs to know they're not alone. And if this spoke to you, know that it's not an ending. It's an invitation to keep walking, to keep trusting, to keep becoming. Until next time, may your path be clear, your flame be steady, and your spirit unshakable.